Right now, somewhere in your head, there's a thought playing on loop. Maybe it's something someone said 3 days ago. Maybe it's a mistake you made years ago. You didn't choose to think about it again. It just showed up. Again. And again. Why does your brain do this to you? You're lying in bed. It's late. You should be asleep. But instead, you're replaying a conversation from this afternoon, the same 5 seconds, over and over. You said something a little awkward, and now your brain is playing it back like a song stuck on repeat. Or maybe it's not even something recent. Maybe it's a memory from years ago. Something embarrassing, something painful, something you thought you'd already let go of. And out of nowhere, in the middle of doing dishes or driving home, it shows up again, uninvited. You try to push it away. It comes back anyway. This isn't just you. This happens to almost everyone, almost every day. And most people never stop to ask the obvious question. Why does the mind do this? Why can't it just let things go? Here's the part that sounds strange at first. Your brain isn't trying to torture you. It thinks it's helping you. Your mind has one job above everything else: keep you safe and keep you functioning. So it built a system for marking certain experiences as important. And the way it marks something as important is by replaying it. Think about it like this. If something felt unfinished, painful, confusing, or threatening in some way, your brain doesn't file it away as done. It files it as open, and an open file stays active in the background, popping up again and again until your brain feels like it's been resolved. This is why you don't replay the boring parts of your day. You don't lie awake thinking about the email you answered calmly or the lunch you ate without incident. Those are closed files. Nothing left to process. But the awkward thing you said? The argument that ended without resolution? The decision you're not sure was right? Those are open files. And open files generate noise. There's actually a name for part of this. Psychologists call it the Zeigarnik Effect, the tendency for unfinished tasks or unresolved situations to stick in memory far more than completed ones. Your brain remembers what's incomplete because incomplete things, in its ancient logic, might still need action. Imagine your brain still partly thinks it's living thousands of years ago. Back then, an unresolved threat, a conflict with someone in your group, a danger you didn't fully understand, could get you killed if you forgot about it too soon. So your brain developed a habit. Replay anything uncertain, anything unfinished, anything emotionally loud until it's safe to stop. The problem is, your brain hasn't updated this system for modern life. It doesn't know the difference between a saber-toothed tiger might come back and I said something slightly weird at a coffee shop. To your nervous system, both feel like open threats. Both deserve repetition. Both deserve attention, just in case. So the thought loops. Not because you're broken, not because you're overthinking in some unique, personal way, but because your mind is running the same protective software it's run for a very long time, applied to a problem it was never designed for. Here's where it gets interesting. You'd think the way to stop a repeating thought is to push it away. Tell yourself, stop thinking about it. Distract yourself. Avoid it. But that almost never works. And there's a reason for that too. When you try to suppress a thought, you have to first think about the thought in order to know what you're trying to avoid. So the act of suppression actually rehearses the thought one more time. You're not erasing it. You're reinforcing it. This is sometimes called the rebound effect of thought suppression. The more forcefully you try not to think about something, the more it tends to resurface, often even stronger than before. So what actually works? Not avoidance. Completion. Remember, your brain repeats things because it has marked them as unfinished, so the loop doesn't stop when you ignore the thought. It stops when the brain feels like the thought has been processed enough to file away. This is why writing something down often quiets a racing mind faster than trying to not think about it. When you put a thought into words, on paper, out loud, anywhere outside your head, your brain receives a kind of signal. This has been acknowledged. It doesn't have to keep replaying it to make sure you noticed. This is also why talking to someone about something painful can bring real relief, even if nothing about the situation has changed. The event is the same. But the act of expressing it tells your brain, This has been handled, even partially. The loop softens. And here's the deeper twist. A lot of repeating thoughts aren't actually about the event itself. They're about an unanswered question hiding underneath it. Why did they say that? Did I make the wrong choice? Am I the problem here? Your brain isn't replaying the moment. It's replaying the moment because it's still searching for an answer it hasn't found. The loop isn't a malfunction. It's a search engine that hasn't returned results yet. That's why the same memory can suddenly stop bothering you the moment you find a new way to understand it. Not because the memory changed, because the search finally closed. So the next time a thought won't leave you alone. The awkward sentence, the old memory, the mistake from years back. Try seeing it differently. It's not haunting you. It's waiting for you to finish something you didn't know was still open. And maybe the loop isn't a flaw in your mind. Maybe it's your mind's quiet way of saying, there's something here you still need to understand.